Computer. Hello, and welcome to Conversations Worth Your While. It's a show in which I chat with authentic, heart-centered experts about interesting topics to spark and inspire and motivate both personal and professional change. And today's topic is about burnout, specifically the burnout epidemic. We're going to share with you easy ways to break that cycle. This conversation is worth your while if you've encountered such a level of stress that you are feeling overworked, overwhelmed, and actually you're at the point of burnout. And if you've decided that you don't want to spend another day feeling like this, then you're going to love today's episode where we share practical tools to help you find more time and more energy, because burnout is preventable. There is an easier way, and it's time to start living your life. So I'm Linda Bucher. I'm a transformational speaker and a master certified life coach. And oh my gosh, you hear all those dings? Weird. Anyway, after living the life of a chameleon and feeling totally like a victim for about 45 years, I finally discovered who I am. I connected with my passion and my purpose, and I reinvented my life to align with the person that I found when I discovered myself. And you know what? When you do that, guess what? I became happier, more confident, more fulfilled. But most importantly, this transformation resulted in me confidently unleashing my gifts into the world. And so now it's my honor and privilege to help you do the same in your life, because you do have a rich, full life to leave. You have important gifts to give to the world, and you have a splash to make. For that to happen, you got to know your worth. You got to be clear on your purpose. You've got to harness those gifts and own the power that you have, and then align your energy and direction and free yourself from all those crazy obstacles that want to hold you back. So if that's something you want to do, then how about this? How about we talk about making a map? So if you want to find your path, you can do that with me. I have a path finding session that will help you to, in just 90 minutes, unlock that path to your future. So if you want to do that, you can find that on my website. All right. So to today's episode, where we will be talking about burnout, I have a wonderful expert with me today, and she's got a lot of surprises for you. It's Lisa Gornall. She is an energy and mindset strategist, and Lisa is making big, beautiful ripples in this world. So Lisa, can you tell us a little bit more about what you do, who you serve, how you're making ripples? Because I'm so happy to have you with us today.
Thank you. So I was born with the ability to just really help people get to the root of what's driving them. And through my own personal experience, I've realized that we're all overworking, overgiving for multiple reasons. And so I like to help my clients get to the root of that, so that way they can reclaim their power, they can be happy, they have more time, and they have more energy.
Oh, everybody wants that. More time, more energy, more happiness, right? Absolutely. So let's start with burnout in general. Okay. So, everybody is stressed. Everybody's got stressors. And I always say, stress is inevitable, but being stressed out is optional. But we've got all these stressors coming at us. And when we ignore it and we just let it pile up, after time, that's when we get to burnout. And burnout, I think a lot of people think they might have burnout before they really have burnout. But what that is that's like a signal. They know, like, okay, burnout's on its way. But of course, they don't pay any attention to that. But it's kind of like this analogy. Like I heard one time, and I thought this was hilarious. Not that it's hilarious, but like the what it made me realize. It said, there's no such thing as a sudden heart attack. It takes years and years of preparation. So obviously that means that it isn't sudden. It's our lifestyle. And if we don't change our lifestyle, then why would we be surprised that we had a heart attack? Like, don't be surprised. It wasn't really sudden. Okay. So same thing with burnout. It's not sudden. There's so many things along the way, so many things that we intuitively know. We get physical symptoms. We get all sorts of hello, bells and whistles, stress, too much, right? So can you tell us a little bit about your story of burnout? I know you've hit it twice, because like all of us, nobody learns the first time. We're like, well, that was a fluke. So tell us a little more about your story.
Yeah, so the first time wasn't enough. So the very first time I experienced burnout, I was 18. I was a freshman in college. I was working 3 jobs, and I just kept going. And I got mono, which totally knocked me out. And if you've ever had mono, it's something that takes months to recover from, which is the worst thing that can happen to a high performer, because you're like, I have bills to pay, I have work to do, they need me, I need to be there, right? All these things were going through my head, and there was nothing that I could do except for lay there and try to heal, right? So that happened when I was 18. And then about, I don't even know how long ago it was, maybe 8-9 years ago, I tore my Achilles, which may not sound like burnout, but what happened was it completely stopped me. I was in the middle of writing my third book. I actually completely scrapped it and restarted that book after I healed. And it really so when I talk about burnout, it's just something that's happening where you're running on all cylinders, you're overgiving your time, you're overgiving your energy, you're exhausted, you're overwhelmed, and something happens in your life, whether it's sickness or injury, that stops you. And there's nothing you can do to just jump back in and do what you've always done. And so my second time was when I tore my Achilles tendon, and I was on rest for 6 weeks because I didn't tear it completely to have surgery. I tore it just enough that it needed to rest. And I was working in spas and doing all these things at the time. I couldn't do any of it.
You know, I think the universe interferes for sure. And a lot of times it's with physical symptoms that are tied to the actual causes of stress, right? So our bodies are physically manifesting what's going on in our heads for sure. And my own personal experience, well, first of all, I did have mono, and it's funny, it was my senior year in college, and I missed a lot of my senior year last semester because I was so sick, and I was, I could barely do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I take a shower and then I need a 4-hour nap. I just wasn't, it was just too much. I was, and again, college, same thing. And I'm an overachiever. So yeah, I get that.
Of course.
And high performer. And then another time that I was really stressed out, and it wasn't actually, it's not always work related. Stress comes from all sorts of areas. It's coming from all around us, and it's coming from how we process what's happening around us. So yeah, there's stressors, but what I mean by stress is inevitable. That's the stressors, but being stressed out is optional. It means you can choose how you process these stressors. You don't need to internalize them, because when you do, that's when you get these other things. I had, my gallbladder was working at about 25% capacity, and I couldn't eat anything delicious. I was just had indigestion 24/7. It was awful. I gained 22 pounds in stress weight, total weight from what was going on in my life at that time. And my neck and back were so stiffened and so much pain. I couldn't sit for 5 minutes in a meeting at work, and I couldn't sleep for more than 15 minutes without waking up in pain. Okay, so that's the universe like, hey, you ain't listening. So I'm going to get a little noisier, and here, take this, this, and this. Now see what you're going to do with all those symptoms all at the same time. So it is really crazy, but we do hold all of that in our bodies, right?
We do. We store the stress in our body to deal with later. When is that later in quotation marks? It's when somebody cuts you off in your car, when a family member says something, when something that's out of your control happens, and you explode over something so little, and it releases a little bit of that stress that we're holding. It releases a little bit of the pressure, but not enough. And then now we have to go fix what we just did.
Yeah.
You hurt somebody for no reason.
Right. Now that's another stressor. What? Totally. So, all right. So one of the main things that people are not doing that is causing stress, they're not listening to their body. Hello. Mm-hmm. The first time it says, slow down, right? So, and B, they're not even, they wouldn't get that far if they would just recharge, right? People don't really know how to recharge. We don't know what to do with ourselves if we're not doing. And, so let's talk a little bit about this concept of recharging. Like, I think of it like a cell phone, right? You use the battery, plug it in, or else guess what? Tomorrow it's not going to work very well.
Right. And it's the same thing with us. We're not plugging in. We are not recharging. We just keep going and doing. And then we think, okay, it's 3:00. I'm exhausted. I can't make it anymore. And we're throwing in these caffeine supplements and eating junk and all this stuff to try to get us through the day. You guys, that's not recharging. That's hurting your body. Okay. Recharging looks like things that give you back energy. Okay. And things like that are taking breaks, scheduling your day in such a way that you're not overcommitted, making sure you get enough sleep at night, eating foods that support your body, doing things that you want to do outside of work. I know you have them. Sometimes we have to dig them out of you, but I know that you have them.
Yeah. And getting to know yourself too, because recharging for one person might be taking a nap, recharging for another person might be taking a walk at the park. So you need to know yourself. It's not like there's not a one size fits all of recharging. I know, the difference between an introvert and an extrovert is how you recharge. It's not whether you're outgoing or not. Like there's plenty of introverts that are super outgoing. It's just they need to be in a quiet room and stare at a wall to recharge. I'm an extrovert. I get energy while also being a projector. I get energy from other people and then I amplify it and make it really big. And so I feel recharged when I'm with people for the most part. But then I recognize, like I spent the entire winter hosting a lot of people at a second home that I have, getting a lot, it was new and people want to come and visit and see us. And we have 5 kids between us and, come and see. And then I'm like not doing my work and instead I'm hosting and, whatever. And then we drove back and then my daughter's graduation and then my daughter stayed here a week and a half. We had to buy our car and like all this stuff. And I could feel that I need, like if it got to that point, because I'm usually pretty good with my energy, like, oh, I'm all done. I feel like doing nothing now. But if I got to that point and I knew I really needed to do something about it. So like on Sunday, I'm like, I'm doing nothing, day off, total day off. So like you said, scheduling the time to recharge, whatever that looks like for you. Right.
And yeah, everybody's going to need different things. I like literally have lists of people that I create with each individual because like you said, we're all different. We all have different requirements. And so, a lot of people will feel guilty for just going and sitting on a couch. I have all these things to do. I can't sit on the couch. If you're getting, I need to sit on the couch, your intuition is always guiding you. Your intuition is saying your body's exhausted. You are on a bad path. This is not good for you. Listen to that message. Listen to your intuition, listen to your body's messages. If your body's saying, oh, from Mono, you get those aches and pains in your back, like you start to get those aches and pains, you're done. So what are your body's signs that you've pushed yourself too far? Those are your signs to start listening to prevent that burnout from coming, because burnout will come if you continue to ignore your body's messages. It's not an if, it's a when.
Yeah. And I love that you brought up intuition because, our intuition, every single person will relate to the statement. Whether you listened to your gut or you didn't, it was always right. Right? You all know, everybody knows, I should have listened to my gut. You've said that. Everybody said that, right? Or I'm so glad I listened to my gut. We're always resentful or regretful when we haven't, or like, darn, I should have. So your gut, your intuition, that inner knowing, we all have that, whether it's just a matter of being in tune with it, is you got to listen. You got to ask, you got to slow down, right? You got to slow down.
You have to have space.
Give yourself
to have space. If you don't make space for your intuition to come in, it's going to come in when you're driving your car, when you're doing the laundry, when you're chopping vegetables. Some mundane task is going to try to make its way to come in. And what are you probably going to do? You're probably going to ignore it because you're busy. You're busy. Right. You need to make time to be and connect with your intuition because it will guide you on your personal best path every time.
Every time. So it is your GPS. It's pointing you on which way to go every day, every minute of every day. If you can just listen, your head doesn't know where to go. It just knows how to get there. It's your race car. Okay. That's your logical part. It's your race car. I'm fast. I'm smart. I'm capable. I can get anywhere. Yes, you can. But where do I go? That's a job for your intuition because your head's just making it up. It's just trying to overachieve. Now, let's talk about the reasons. Okay. So one of the biggest things about stress for everybody, why are you an overgiver? Why are you an overachiever? Why are you an overworker? Why are you an overwhelmer? Over, that is a big giant clue that you are trying to prove yourself, period. Everybody is trying to prove themselves. And let's talk about why.
So this is something that I've named the success wound, right? So we are trying to prove to others through our work or through overgiving that you are worthy, that you are enough, or that you are loved. You're either proving 1, 2, or all 3 of those things. And here's the thing about proving things to others. It's impossible Because when we try to prove something to somebody else, it comes off as this icky energy. But you're stuck in the success wound that's telling you, I have to prove that I'm worthy at work. I have to work Saturday to get this done. I have to take this call at 8 o'clock at night. I have to work on my vacation because I'm proving something. You guys are not proving anything. You're taking this time that you're supposed to be recharging, and you're working and you're hurting yourself because your body cannot go all the time. And so whenever you start to overgive, overdo, when you're focused on more, 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 when you're hitting that goal and moving immediately on to the next one, you are operating from your success wound, and you want to stop that immediately.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And the thing, you brought up that you cannot prove yourself to someone else. And that's 1,000% true. Okay. So people can only see you through the lens of their experience. Their lenses are all covered in schmutz. And the schmutz is their own fears, their own insecurities, their own success wounds. That's how they see you. They cannot see the true, real you. So no matter what you try to prove to be, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, I'm, whatever enough, they're only able to see you through their lens, not through the truth. And you're only able to see them through your lenses of schmutz. Now, it is your own personal job to de-schmutz your lens, and that's what I do. And that's what Lisa does. We help you de-schmutz that so that you can see more clearly, not just others, but yourself. And that is a huge, big aha that I hope everyone takes out of this, is when you truly can see yourself, if you're brave enough to do it. And I want to give you a hint. You don't need to be brave because you're going to love who you find. When you're brave enough to do it, then you can finally see others differently. And then you can start to repair your own sense of worthiness. And that is the fundamental number one thing we need to do to show up as our best self in the world for all those people who deserve our best selves. That's the number one thing we do. So tell us a little bit about what you discover, like when people are having these patterns of I'm not good enough, right? Or trying to do something outside their comfort zone. Like, what do you see in the work you're doing, Lisa?
So I usually see people reverting back to something that they've either experienced from their childhood. If you believe in past lives, which obviously I do as a medium, people are pulling in, experiences that they had from a past life. We're always trying to heal something, some experience, some wrong that happened to us. Okay. We're never done. Healing is never done. So people are like, I spent all these years healing. We're not done, because we'll just start pulling in stuff from other lives. Okay. And they show up in these experiences for you to heal and be free. That's the ultimate goal, is for us to be free. Okay. So when we start, going back into, I've been proving my worth. I've been proving I'm enough. I'm proving that I'm loved. I'm recognizing that I'm doing this. In that moment, you want to stop doing it. That's step number one. Whatever you're doing in that moment, you have to stop, because I can, clear your energy and get you into a good space. But the moment of change is in that moment. So you have to recognize, I'm trying to prove my worth at work again. I just took on this whole workload for no reason. And what you've got to do is you've got to say, stop. The next question I want you to ask yourself is, what am I saying no to for me by doing this? Right? Because we're always spending time and energy, and we only have so much in the day. So the more you're trying to take on or do, right, for other people, you're saying no to yourself. So that's often a great way for us to stop and look and be more objective and say, I really wanted to go to yoga tonight, and now I can't. Or I really wanted to go for a swim or a run, and now I don't have the time. So you need to think about the cost to you. Because when you're in a new situation, you're just going to stop into those old patterns, because your brain's not thinking. Your brain's just like, oh, here's the situation. This is what we do. So you're going to stop. You're going to ask yourself what this time cost is to you. And then you're going to make a decision that's going to best support you. And you're going to do that instead. You have to make a new choice. Okay. If we don't make a new choice, you're not going to have new results. You are the common denominator in your life. So to get a new result, you have to do something new. So when you would normally take on that work, you can say, oh, I would take that on, but then I can't complete this task. Which task is more important for me to do? And who can I hand this other thing off to? Right? That's just a work example.
It is. And I love that you're talking about addressing the trade-off. That's really what you're doing. And you're addressing it personally. If I take this on, what's this other thing I'm going to have to give up that I really want to do? And if I'm experiencing overwhelm and I'm out of balance, then why am I doing that again? Oh, look it's a pattern, right? But then also, like, people will argue, well, yeah, but my boss gave me this extra thing. How am I supposed to say no to that? Well, you can also discuss trade-offs with your boss. Like, listen, I would be willing to do that. And yes, I can do that. However, I've got 5 other things I'm working on. So which one would you like me to put down so I can do that? Because I can only do 5 well, or I could do 6 mediocre, but I want you to make that decision. You tell me what I should do. That's a conversation that is sharing, with your boss, that you recognize your own limitations and that you're more interested in doing something well than doing something more. Right. So that's the conversation. So you can have these trade-offs with yourself first, like think about the trade-off, make your decision, and then have that conversation. And again, if you're afraid to have that conversation, it's because you need to repair that sense of self-worth. So that is, again, the fundamental thing. We're stuck in these patterns because we don't truly believe we're enough. We don't truly believe we believe we have to prove ourselves. We're saying yes when we mean no. We're giving all our love to everybody else and not leaving anything left for ourselves. And it is absolutely unselfish to discover how worthy you are and truly love yourself. Because when that happens, you won't have as many needs that need to be filled, and you will have less stuff to have to fill, right? That's one way to get stuff off your plate. You won't be needy. Like, how wonderful is that when you're in balance and you love who you are and you know that you're worthy, and you're going to stop doing things to prove yourself to other people. It's a beautiful place to be. And that's the place and that's the person that your loved ones deserve.
Yeah. And we want to make ourselves a priority. I know that we are taught, especially as women, not to make ourselves a priority. Everybody else first. But what do they tell you on the airplane? You have to put the oxygen mask on yourself first before you can take care of other people. You will run out of oxygen. The same is true for all of you that are overgiving and overworking. You are on the path to burnout. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And how can you start giving yourself more self-care, which is how you recharge, to prevent that burnout from happening? Because I promise you, every high performer I've worked with that has experienced burnout is like, this sucks. It sucks because you can't do the things you want to do.
Right. So if someone is saying, like, I see this all the time on the internet, everybody's posting about self-care, right? I posted about why you're avoiding and feeling guilty about self-care. That's what I'm posting about. And again, it comes down to that worthiness. So what would you say to somebody who hasn't yet repaired their sense of worthiness, with which both you and I help people do in different modalities, different ways? They haven't yet repaired that, but yet they want some easy way to at least get some relief from this burnout. What would you say?
Yeah. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to bring in white light. White light is God, universe, source, whatever you want to call it. It's non-denominational. It's energy. Okay. We're born with it. We die with it. It's our energy. But what we do throughout the day is we block it with our stress and our worries and our fears. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to bring that white light in from the top of your head and let it go gently and easily through your body, down to your feet and into the earth. And then I want you to notice where you're rejecting that white light. Where are you saying, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, I'm not loved, I can't have these things that I'm asking for? Where is that? Is it in your chest? Is it in your throat? Is it in your stomach? Do your hips feel stuck? Does your neck feel tense? What's going on in your body? And that's where you need to just pull that energy out and let it go. That's the stress that you're carrying. Those are those old beliefs and that energy that you're carrying that's keeping you repeating these patterns. And so you want to pull that out like smoke or like weeds, and you want to get it all out, and you're going to give that energy to God, universe, source, and let it disappear. And you're going to say, I am free. And if you're focusing on worthy, I am worthy. And feel that go through your whole body and notice where your body rejects it. Your body's going to tell you where you're not okay with it, where you're still holding a piece or a sliver that says, you're not worthy. You're not enough.
That is so cool, because I'm doing it right now, as you say. like, okay,
Well,
I got
can
this
we can just walk through a guided one right now if you want to.
Okay,
Do you want
let's
to?
do that.
Let's do
Yes.
that. Let's just
Oh,
walk
that
through a
would be
guided
beautiful.
storytelling.
All right,
Yeah, let's just
audience,
do
get
that.
ready.
All right, so you can't be driving.
Okay, yeah, don't
You
do
need
this
to
if you're
sit
driving,
down.
everyone.
You need to be able to sit down and close your eyes. So if you can do that, you can continue. Otherwise, just listen to us. Okay, so sit down, close your eyes, and you're going to bring that beam of white light in from the top of your head. And it's huge. It's like 6 feet around your body from the top of your head. And it's going to go gently and easily through your body, down to your feet, and into the earth. I am peace. I am free. And then we're going to say the 3 ones that I work on with the success wound. And I want you to notice where you're storing that energy in your body. I am worthy. Where do you reject that in your body? I am enough. Where do you reject that in your body? I am love. Where do you reject that in your body? So now that you notice where you're feeling that tension or that tightness, pull it all out. The reason that you're recognizing that you can feel it, sense it, is because it no longer works for you. So pull that energy out like smoke or like weeds. You may know where it came from, you may not. It doesn't matter. You're done with this. You're no longer carrying this baggage, and you're going to give it all to God, universe, source, whatever you want to call it, and you're going to let it disappear. It is not to come back into your body. And you're going to refill every space that you were clearing with, I am free. And then you're going to put that I am in that you felt yourself rejecting. So I am worthy. I am enough. I am love. And then imagine a soft pink coming from behind that space, and let it fill every cell all the way forward. I am worthy. I am enough. I am love. And then imagine a soft green coming in from the top of your head. Let it go gently and easily through your body, down to your feet, and into the earth. I stand in my power. I am on my best path forward. All is well. And then let's bring that white light in again from the top of your head. Let it go gently and easily through your body, down to your feet, and into the earth. My life is easy. I am supported. And when you're ready, go ahead and slowly open your eyes. How do you feel?
Yeah, super good. Super good. I'll tell you what I noticed because I think it's fascinating. I have done a lot of work in the world of personal world of worthiness and being enough. And so what's interesting is, first of all, when I said I am love, not past tense or an object, but I am love, that felt very beautiful. Like that's a total truth. I know that it's a truth. I feel it feels as a truth. And it's actually coincidentally the thing I write in my gratitude journal in my I am statement every single day for the past 5 years. I am love is how I end it every day. The I am worthy. I had a little something in my chest and upper chest, or even maybe down into the spleen, but seemed more upper chest at that point. And then when I said, I am enough, something in the throat, which I thought was kind of interesting. So it's like, I've done so much work to heal it. And I don't know where my expectations.
Like I said,
we're never done healing, as you're saying.
Well, we're always healing, right? That's
always healing.
We're always healing because we're not just healing the stuff from this life. We also have generational stuff that we're healing. Like we carry stuff from our parents, our grandparents. I have clients that are adopted, met their parents, same issues. Like we are genetically programmed as well. So there's all this stuff that we pick up and carry, and we don't know that it's ours until we realize, I don't believe that. That's not my thing. I don't want to carry it anymore. Yeah. So healing is very simple, but it's very complex. It's just layers of an onion. You never know what you're going to get.
You don't. It is
What's coming up today.
Right. What's coming up today? And that's the question to ask. It's really about being deliberate about your healing, because you can say, I'll do it later, but it's not, that pain is not going away. And as it manifests in your body, it is getting worse day by day. So ignoring it is making it worse. It is doing something. It's not actually ignoring, it's actually making it worse. So we need to be deliberate and be present and so that we can have that awareness. What am I feeling right now? What emotion am I feeling right now? Where in my body am I feeling this emotion? Just that little bit of awareness is enough to start a release, which is way cool. You'd be like, what? Just because I became aware it's releasing? It is. And then doing something like what you just guided us through helps it release even more, especially for visual people. Like, oh, I can visualize that coming out as smoke. And I could recognize there's a little more in there, but the fact that I can recognize, like, all right, well, I'll let a little more out. And I love the idea of replacing it with something else. So it's not a cavity that can, that can fill up again with the bad stuff. Right. Now I've replaced it with something beautiful and something more healing and more whole. And the more healing and the more whole we are, the better every relationship we'll ever have will be. Anyone who has a relationship that the two people are not whole, they're trying to, they're expecting the other one to fill their holes. They're trying to.
It's like this.
It's like this give and take that's icky and graspy and doesn't need to happen. Imagine when two people come together in a relationship, a friendship, a sibling relationship, a parental child relationship, a romantic relationship. It doesn't matter what it is. When you both come in it from a place of wholeness, like I'm giving myself what I need, so I don't have any more holes or just a few, because I'm being aware. I'm aware. I'm giving myself what I need. I'm listening to my intuition. I'm listening to my body, which is the noisy part of my intuition. Is when it finally manifests. Now I'm listening. Now I'm giving myself what I need. I'm no longer feeling victimy. I'm no longer feeling needy. I'm no longer feeling graspy. And therefore, the person you're interacting with as my friend, partner, sibling, whatever, now you're interacting with a much more calm, peaceful person. And our relationship gets better, even if you don't do anything. It's better because I'm feeling more whole and giving myself what I need, which is not being burnt out. Now, as a medium, you've talked with, souls that have passed through their bodies this time around. Does anybody ever say, wow, I'm so glad I worked my fingers to the bone?
No, I mean, the first thing that they always say is, wow, I'm so free. We put so many constraints on ourselves in this life. And one of the regrets people always have on their deathbed is, I worked too much. I put too much of a priority on work. I wanted to travel more. I wanted to do this activity more. I wanted to be with family more. I wanted to be more present. And you guys all have that ability to do that now. I was telling her before we began that I went to nursing school to be a hospice nurse. I thought I wanted to help people, cross over. But what I'm here to do is help people create a life that they love and in all areas before they get to their deathbed. We are not here to have regrets. Like, live your life fully, be happy, do things that bring you joy. And if you don't know what brings you joy, that's a warning sign that you're also on your path to burnout.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's really about repairing your sense of worthiness, getting to know who you are, aligning what you're doing it and how you're doing it with who you are, deliberately bumping up your awareness so you recognize whenever you're straying from that alignment that you worked so hard to get to, right? And to get rid of all those obstacles, those nasty beliefs that we have consciously, and the energy that you help people to release that we hold, that we're maybe not conscious of holding, that we're holding in our body, to release all those obstacles that are wanting to get you out of alignment. So it's really about, know who you are, repair your sense of worthiness, get into alignment, and then keep focusing on that alignment and releasing what's trying to pull you out with the help of experts, because that's what you and I are here for, right? This is what we do. And
it's hard to do the inner work on your own because you can't see what needs to be fixed. We're blind to our own issues. You can point out everybody else's issues without a problem. But when it comes to our own stuff, we don't see that magnifying glass shown in the exact same way.
No, we don't. You're absolutely right. So that's a really important point. So I love that you brought us to this white light to recharge, and just I think the most important thing we're leading people with is that burnout is it's avoidable, right? It's totally avoidable, but it takes awareness and it takes some type of action, which may very well be doing nothing,
Mm-hmm.
or scheduling into your calendar. But it also takes letting go of trying to prove yourself. If you look at your to-do list and then you circle everything that you're trying, everything on that list that in some way is there to prove your significance, or to prove your importance, or to prove that you're lovable, or to prove that you're good enough, right? Circle all those things and see what percentage of those to-dos falling into that category. That's a giant point of awareness. I had a client who that was the homework that I gave her. And she came back the next week and she said 75% of what I say yes to is trying to prove my significance, that I matter, that I'm a good mom, or that I'm needed, or that I'm a great writer, or that I'm, 75%, because she came to me because of overwhelm and burnout,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like, I'm already giving it up. Just that awareness was enough for her logically to say, I'm not doing all that. Are you kidding? So then she had enough space by doing that to be able to repair her sense of worthiness. So a lot of people are like, I'd love to do this work on myself and deep dive, but I don't have any time because I'm doing all this other stuff for other people. So if you recognize that and you get that awareness of where you're trying to prove yourself, just that awareness might be enough to help you let go of it, just enough so that you can be deliberate in beautiful exercises like your white light exercise, to release the things that they feel nasty because they're baloney, right? Truth feels like freedom.
Mm-hmm.
If there's something in your body that feels like ick, that's because it's not truth. I mean, how obvious can that be? It's not truth. So why would you want to keep holding it there? So let's release it. Wow. This has been such a beautiful conversation, Lisa. I'm so glad that you came to be my guest on the show today. So thank you so much. And if someone wants to learn a little bit more about the work you do, or if they were like, oh yeah, I'm ready for some energetic, get that crap out of me, I don't want that anymore. Where can they go? What can they do? How can they contact you?
So one of the best places to find me is on YouTube. I release a new video every week, or actually every other week now, and I have hundreds of videos on there, from meditations to practical tools. It's all there. I also have 3 books in my Enlighten Love series that you can find on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, or you can get a signed copy on my website. It's basically anywhere that sells books, you can get a copy, ebook or print.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay. And what is your website, just for our listeners, even though I will put it in the show notes, but if they're just listening because they're on a walk and they're not like on the show notes, what is your website?
It's lisagornall.com.
Awesome. Okay. That is beautiful. Well, thank you again for being a guest. It's been my pleasure to speak with you today. And once again, I'm Linda Bucher, speaker and master certified life coach, and I am on a mission to inspire and impact millions. I did say millions of people. I don't know how, but somehow millions of people to know their worth and share their gifts, deliberately creating big, beautiful ripples in the world. And this podcast is one of the ways I do it. And I'm so grateful for every listener that tunes into our show. So you lifelong listeners, that is our show. Please come back next week for another episode of Conversations Worth Your While. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel, subscribe from wherever you're listening to this. That would be beautiful. And until next time, please make sure that you've made this conversation worth your while by fueling the spark that it ignited.